Ronald Greene, Daunte Wright, Tamir Rice, Breonna Taylor, George Floyd, Michael Brown, Philandro Castile, Eric Garner, Makhia Bryant, Ahmaud Arbery, Rayshard Brooks, Sean Monterrosa, Andrew Brown Jr. I could go on because when it comes to victims of police violence, the list just keeps growing. We say their names and we bear witness to horrific violence and police brutality and images on video that we can't unsee. It's affecting the mental health of Black America. Within a week of George Floyd's murder, according to numbers from the Census Bureau, depression and anxiety among African Americans shot up more than any other racial group. More than 40% of African Americans screened positive for at least one of those symptoms. So to talk more about this, let's bring in America's psychologist, Dr. Jeff Gardere. Dr. Jeff, thank you so very much for being with me.
Thank you for having me.
All right, so today we saw more video released in the police killing of Ronald Greene. It feels like we're constantly being bombarded with images and videos like this showing horrific police violence against Black bodies. Talk to me about what is often called intergenerational trauma.
Well, Yodit, what we see with intergenerational trauma is that as people are facing racism each and every day, they can pass down the emotional effects of that to their children and to subsequent generations due to the fact that they share the emotions, they tell the stories, they share how the trauma happened to them. And so our kids experience that trauma just by knowing the fear that's out there. But there are epigenetic studies that show that babies can be harmed in utero. So imagine someone going through a particular racial trauma and then that trauma then affecting the baby and then the baby being born compromised with some sort of a psychological issue. So this is very real and certainly something that we must address. And I'm glad you're doing that this evening, Yodit.
No, absolutely. Had to get you on the show for that. All right, so next Tuesday is the 1-year anniversary of George Floyd's murder, that infamous video, and then the Derek Chauvin trial were, for many Black folk, just mentally and emotionally exhausting. So what are some coping mechanisms we can use to deal with these feelings?
Well, I think one of the most important things we can do is talk to one another, share what that trauma feels like, connect the dots in being able to look at empowerment strategies that we can share and how the struggle continues. And it's so important that we be validated in many of the emotions that we have because we're being traumatized and re-traumatized all the time by not only these killings, but what we see as voter suppression, the rise of white supremacy once again. So that catharsis is very important. The other thing I would say, I know it sounds simple, but it's so very true. If you're being bombarded by the images and at some point you're starting to feel physically or psychologically ill, you've got the information. The trauma is there. So sometimes you have to turn off the source of that and then find something else that can sustain you, whether it's your holy book, whether it's some sort of meditation, whether it is something that can just take your mind off of that topic because it's going to be waiting for you in a couple of hours or the next day. In other words, you do have to give your body a rest. Being in fight and flight mode all the time does begin to break down the internal organs, and it causes more psychological harm than anything else.
Well, Dr. Jeff, for people like you and I mean, I'm a journalist. I report on this stuff every night. And, you know, for me to be able to be sharp in my interviews, I have to know the information. And I struggle with that because I don't know how to do my job, but then also take care of my mental health as well. I don't want to see these videos, but how do I report on them, right? So what would you suggest? I'm looking for personal advice here for people who could turn that off and revisit it, you know, a week from now, you know, a month from now, or not at all. I can't necessarily do that.
Yodit, I'm glad that you're bringing this up. I do a lot of workshops for broadcast journalists like yourself, and I talk to them about the fact that, first of all, broadcast professionals already have a pre existing condition of PTSD before all of the COVID situation, before the police shootings, where we got woke to what was going on. And so it is important that traditionally that you are able to debrief and that you be supported by the parent organizations that employ you. So I would say to you that yes, of course, you've got to do your work. You've got to be in there. You're a frontline worker, but we know with other frontline workers that they have more anxiety and depression. So the best thing I can say to you is take the time. Find a counselor, someone you can connect with. An affinity group is very important in being able to talk about the traumas that you experience every day, being in the trenches as a broadcast journalist. Remember, we had a president just before President Biden came in who said that the media was the enemy of the people. And so they were attacked physically and emotionally.
Yes.
So certainly, we think this is something that is so important, and that all people involved in the media should be debriefing and have some sort of a connection or catharsis.
You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right, Dr. Jeff. All right, so but access to good health care and mental health care in particular is an issue in Black communities across the U.S. So how can people find therapists who understand Black trauma and are accessible to them in terms of cost?
Well, as we know, there aren't that many Black therapists out there. 5 to 7% get PhDs in psychology, clinical, or counseling. 5% of the physicians, which include psychiatrists, those are very, very low numbers, even smaller for Black psychiatrists. So it's important that we train all of our mental health providers in cultural sensitivity and cultural competence to increase the numbers. But of course, being able to connect with someone who has had that experience, a Black or brown person, that's also important too. But that's why we're training a lot of our medical students, psychology students from all races in cultural sensitivity and cultural competence. And there are groups out there online that actually have many therapists who have this kind of training and who are actually therapists of color, who are BIPOC individuals.
I want to play a clip for you, Dr. Jeff. It's Ronald Greene's mother, Mona Harden. I spoke with her the same night that the video of police killing her son was leaked by the Associated Press.
Can I say one thing? Can I say one thing? I just want to apologize if I seem angry, because I'm beyond the description of anger. But I don't want to show that I'm not staying glued together, because we're going to see this through. For my Ronnie, this right here represents my boy. He was a giving spirit.
Mother Mona, you can feel whatever you want to feel. And let me just tell you that you have it all the way together. So I appreciate the time that you have given us. You continue to fight. We're here to support you. But please understand that we understand that you can say what you want, feel what you want. You have that right. Dr. Jeff, I couldn't believe that Mother Mona felt she should apologize for being angry, or if she came off as unraveled, but I also understand why she did. You know, Black women, Black mothers so often have to maintain this image of strength and resilience, even when it seems the perfectly normal response in these situations would be to just completely lose it. Talk about this feeling that we always have to stay strong in the face of so much unbearable trauma.
Well, first of all, Yodit, thank you for telling her that she really had it together and validating her and give her the positive support, because that's what we need to do. But we as Black and brown people, indigenous peoples, we have this idea in our heads that we have to adapt, that we are no ways tired. I remember growing up as a little boy in Brooklyn and my father telling me, you have to work 10 times as hard And I would say, why, Dad? He said, because you are, at the time we used the term, you are a Negro. And so we know that we have to suck it up and keep moving forward. But that's not sustainable. So it's important that we be able to lay our burdens down and talk to good friends, talk to other people, talk to family members who can share some of that same pain that we have, but most importantly, to be able to share the empowerment strategies. We just can't keep going the way that we are without having some sort of relief.
Now, one of the things that stuck with me, Dr. Jeff, from the Derek Chauvin trial was the testimony of the 9-year-old girl who had watched a murder taking place. A 2019 study published in the Journal of Adolescent Health found that when Black kids and teens are exposed to traumatic events like police killings, they're more apt to suffer from PTSD and symptoms of depression. What should we be telling our children about police violence, and how should we help them cope with these images and videos?
Well, you're absolutely right that many of our children, whether they are the victims of violence or they are witnessing it, do have PTSD, number one. Number two, we see that suicidal ideations and rates are going up in Black communities, especially with Black boys. So they are very much affected. There's a lot of fear that that's out there for our children and for us as parents. So it's important that we not only have the talk, but we have a series of talks. It's important that we not just talk, but also model behaviors as to how to de-escalate situations, how our minds are our best weapons with regard to being able to navigate through our society in a way that we can be successful. But it has to be addressed that we are treated as second and third class citizens, but it doesn't make us less. We just need to be stronger, but we need to share that with the people around us.
Dr. Jeff, America's psychologist, thank you so much for taking such good care of us tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Yodit.